Hello, my name is Dean Shazer, and to my left is Frank Cortazzo. Today, we will be doing interviews for the senior spotlight here on the fourth floor of the communication department at Waynesburg University. And today, I have the honor to be interviewing Frank Cortazzo IV, four-year football player, three-time letter winner for the Waynesburg University Yellow Jackets. I guess we're supposed to ask some questions, so Frank, let's get right into it. Let's start off by just overall as a whole, describe your experience here at Waynesburg.
Well, it is an honor being interviewed by you, Deanie. I do really appreciate you doing this.
Of course.
It's easy as, coming here to Waynesburg, before that, I had no idea what I wanted to really do. I knew I wanted to get into the sports media field or the media field in general, but I really didn't know where to go. So, we put some feelers out there, and my dad, he wanted to see if he was, that prior year, he was like, do you want to play football? Do you want to play football? And at that time, I really didn't want to. I was more focused on getting my education first, because that's what mattered. I'm going here to get an education. And something that always stuck out to me was my Uncle Tim told me, Frankie, if you're going to go somewhere and one day, let's say an injury happens or something happens where you can't play football anymore, could you still stay at that institution or university? And that's the number one thing I looked at when I went to different schools. So football was not on my mind at first.
Right.
So coming here, I remember my visit. It was me, my father, and Professor Krause. And, we walked the halls and I saw kind of all the opportunities I could have here. And right from there, I knew I was coming here. And over the years, thinking about it, what I will remember the most is the people. No doubt about it. I will remember the people here and what they have taught me, the professors, my classmates. I've learned more. Well, I can't say that. I've learned a lot from our professors here. But I've learned a lot more just from learning from my classmates about myself and about others. So, special memories is every sports production we've done and times in the classroom where we're working on projects, or even like right now, even doing stuff like this where we're on the panel talking about stuff. So I've always had those memories in there that, I've always appreciated.
And I know, building off that, I know football has long hours and a lot of dedication, and as does the fourth floor in the communications department as a whole at Waynesburg, all hands on deck operation. It's a team sport in certain aspects. So how were you able to balance communications? You said education is your number one priority. So how were you able to balance everything while playing football?
Well, I've been a student athlete for most of my life. So that part really I didn't have any trouble with. But I would make jokes about it on the floor that I went into hibernation for the fall, because there's no way that they're going to put a camera on me while I'm playing out there on the field. That'd be cool. We'd probably have to mute it because some of the things I would say. But the way I balanced it was I knew that I would have to step it up in the spring. And that means mostly for the productions, or, if I did have the time in the fall, I would work radio, or I would come in on a panel if I had time. But to be honest, it wasn't that tough. I know a lot of people might think that, coming into Waynesburg, I want to be a student athlete, I want to do this. You just got to have the dedication. You got to have that willpower. And I think that for my whole life, I'm always going to have that. I'm always going to find a way to do something. And that's something I've always stuck with, find a way. If I have to get this done, I might have to stay up a little bit later. It's just how it is. But being an athlete, I never really had that problem.
So you mentioned relationships, and you mentioned the people that you've met at Waynesburg. Not diving into any who's, but not any specifics on who, rather. But what are some of the major ways that professors and students, or some situations where they have helped you move along in times of hardship?
Even coming in after like a tough week or something, even walking into the Yellow Jacket and just talking to friends. I've always thought of it as like the second family I have here on campus. And sometimes they're like my first family. Because if you think about it, you know, you're at a football team and that's your, you know, that would be your group. But then I always have another group of people that I can always go to and talk about. And usually, and the best part about it was they would tell me the truth. And I kind of liked it. I always said that, like, well, if I was around and the football team wasn't doing that good, because there was times we weren't doing good at all,
right.
I'm going to say, hey, guys, just because I'm here doesn't mean you don't have to, like, you know, if you're saying the truth, it's not going to matter to me. But I've always thought that, you know, the people we have on this floor and the professors we have, you know, if we go to them and we ask them, we need help, we've always gotten help. Even if it was something as small as, you know, an extension, we're going to get it. But there was times this semester or even last semester where it was coming down to crunch time for me, because I'm kind of known to do that, where I'll let things go a little bit too far off. I had a practicum project due, and I needed to get a team together to film. And Tyler Zeman, Ben Champ, and Will Wilson were right there. Once I said it, they were like, we're on it. And it's probably one of my nicer projects I've done. I'm really proud of that, because I put together a nice video for a trucking company nearby. But
Yeah,
just
I
like
remember that.
just
That was a
like
good
that, I mean, you got guys in here that even if you ask for just a little bit of help, they're going to give it to you. And I do appreciate that. And then even for me, if someone always reached out, hey, Frank, can you do this? I've always tried to make myself available for that person.
Yeah. You said that. Speaking on help, it's more than likely they'll help you more than with what you actually need help with. And sometimes it gets annoying. It feels like they're showing you up a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you this. It did not get annoying to me, because then you have Ben Champ, Will Wilson, and Tyler Zeman, all guys that know their way around a camera. I mean, just that, I was very appreciative, because I was like, guys might have did it better than I would have done. But I didn't want to admit that to them, so you guys will find out in this video. I mean, Ben Champ's video was top notch, that I'm like, I'm glad I got you, because I wouldn't have done that.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, speaking on everything, reminiscing on all the good times, where do you go from here?
I mean, I had some opportunities. I've had some interviews, and as of right now, I'm still looking. And I know for one thing that, you know, this next year, I will be somewhere. It might not be the exact place I want to be, but it's going to be somewhere that, you know, I'm going to make ends meet. And I know a lot of people coming out of college, they get real worried and real anxious. And I'm kind of, and this is going to sound a little bit of like it's a little bit of a pride thing, but I don't find myself to be a person that will be like, oh, I don't have a job, I don't have this.
Right.
No, I'm going to do something in order to get myself, you know, get a foot in the door somewhere. But, I mean, it's going to be somewhere in the digital media field or wherever. I mean, that's kind of the fun part about being out there, getting ready.
You have a lot of options, and unfortunately, that's our time limit on the Senior Spotlight. Frank, it's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to build a friendship with you over really less than the past year. We've grown closer, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Danny.
In the upcoming months.
I appreciate it.
And that's all we have today. This was your Senior Spotlight highlighting Frank Cortazzo IV. I'm Dean Shazer, and thank you.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.